Good evening, this is the Oscar expert here with Brother Bro and the Film Drunk. The Film Drunk, say hi, say good evening.
Hello, good evening. What's up?
What is up?
The Kissing Booth.
The Kissing Booth is
what's
absolutely
up, I think.
up. In fact, it came out today and we already saw it because we're dedicated fans.
I watched it during work.
Did you really?
Yeah, because I'm a
Are you telling me that
professional.
you didn't give the Kissing Booth 3 the focus and attention that it demands for this serious discussion we're about to have on it?
No, if anything, I didn't give my work the proper focus and attention.
That's fair.
So.
I didn't see this, though. I'm just here to moderate. I'm here for the ride.
One of the previous times we talked to the Film Drunk, we found out that we had both shared a passion, I would say, for the Kissing Booth, perhaps in different ways. Yeah. I would view the trilogy as a guilty pleasure. I really would.
I think it's dog shit. I think it's really... Well, okay, the first one, I can get away with a guilty pleasure. These next two, I mean, we'll get into the third one, but Jesus, yeah, I can't share that same sentiment.
Wow. As people who care a lot about films and are always seeking, like, you know, the best in cinema, we are going to have a lengthy discussion about this movie. There's going to be spoilers because literally nobody cares. I guess I'm going to start off by saying I honestly think this may have been the best in the trilogy. I honestly think it may have been the best one yet.
He's not fucking around. Like, he's not just saying this to, like, make the discussion lively. Like, he came in my room and was like, okay, listen, it's like maybe the best one. And he was like defending a lot of shit.
I was actually
I'm ready.
kind of emotionally invested in the characters, to be quite honest. I thought that a lot
You
of
cried?
their... No, I didn't cry, but, you know, some of the decisions that they were making, I thought was like, damn, you know, that's actually like kind of real. Like when it comes to relationships around the time of college.
Kissing booth, real.
And trying to figure out where to go in your life. You know, I'm not going to say that the movie is not like
it's kind of broad.
dumb, like, holy fuck, this motherfucker got into Harvard? Absolutely no.
I love that absurd shit happens like that in the movies, though. It's like they just get into Harvard.
Keep going.
The Film Drunk. In comparison to these other two films, you know, would you say this is like, you know, the Batman Begins and then the second one's like the Dark Knight and then the third is like the Dark Knight Rises? Would you compare it to the Toy Story trilogy, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, maybe the Godfather trilogy?
Wow. Sorry, I'm just really taken aback by all those trilogies you just threw out. Man, Batman Begins, Dark Knight. First one is the best one.
Okay. All right.
Second one is still the worst. Man. And then the third one is close, but it's better than the second one, not better than the first. So it goes 1, 3, 2.
It's not as long as the second one.
That's correct. I mean, they should have cut another additional like 20 minutes of it.
Perhaps, you know, maybe in the middle.
Sure.
Maybe in the middle. I want to
Maybe in
talk
the
to you about your visceral hatred for this trilogy because I actually find it to be kind of cutesy and charming, and like the acting is played up a lot. Like everybody's always like very happy and like they're just hugging each other because they feel like it. You know, they're really wearing their emotions on their sleeves here. But I actually genuinely really like Joey King in it. I think the other actors are pretty good as well. You know, the editing is stupidly quick. I mean, it is designed for the Gen Z attention span or even the next generation. But I can forgive it. I can forgive it for these dumb little moments and just be charmed by it.
That's very generous, calling them little dumb moments, but I hear your sentiment. I am all for Netflix having something like this, like a To All the Boys, because, you know, I don't know about you guys, but I kept hearing, like, there's not enough movies for, like, teenage girls, like, growing up, stuff like that. 100%. I agree. But this bitch, who Joey King plays, maybe the most unlikable lead character in like a trilogy like ever. And this third one really just drove that home on me. The decisions she makes, the way she acts, oh my, I hope the teenage girls watching this movie just do not look up to her and see her and it's like, I'm not gonna do that. Cherry on top, not enough Kissing Booth.
They really only brought it back in the end just to do it.
Yeah.
They also did the same with the DDR. Like, it didn't play as big of a role, but they brought the DDM. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. They brought it back, but they didn't do too much with it. To your point that Elle is an unlikable character who makes bad decisions. You know, what I actually do like about the films is that they are very forgiving to their central characters. You know, there's even a character, you know, Marco, he punches Noah in the face. And it's that if I were Elle, I would have said, like, that's done for you. The movie was about how even though she makes these poor decisions in her life, that, you know, she's just trying to get along. She's a flawed person like we all are. Maybe you wouldn't make the same decisions. Maybe you're a little wiser than her. She was absolutely a total bitch to her potential mother-in-law. Totally uncalled for.
Okay, say that again. Yes, that's
absolutely. But she did apologize, didn't she? She apologized, and she has trouble rationalizing her feelings, and that's why I liked the conclusion of this movie. Right? I agree. She made a lot of poor decisions in this movie. She was terrible at juggling her life, trying to please her best friend, trying to appease her boyfriend, and all the while kind of ruining the relationship with both of them. The decision that she makes in the end is that she decides to go her own path, go to a different college than the other two were going to, because going to X college or Y college, you know, that just meant staying with her best friend or staying with her boyfriend. But instead she says, no, I need to work on me and I need to take some alone time. And I was like, yes. And actually I went online. I looked at a couple of YouTube interviews with, you know, Joey King or whatever. And I mostly wanted to look at the comments. Fans were displeased with the ending because they said, I wanted the happy ending. I wanted her to get with Noah. I wanted them to get married like, you know, her best friend did. And I was unsatisfied that it was an open ending. And I said, you are not appreciating the artistic liberties that the movie is taking and trying to get you to fill in the blank for the ending. Because it's not about whether or not she gets with him or not. It's about a woman choosing her own path. Not needing no man.
A woman's right to choose.
This was the most feminist of the trilogy. The first one was the least feminist of the trilogy because it ogled her too much. And the second one had to stop. Yeah. And then this one actually went a step further and it kind of made her an independent person.
So, you know, you brought up a lot there. Film drunk. You know, let's just go with the ending for now. You know, this character made a lot of bad decisions throughout the way. In the end, she apologizes for those decisions and then decides I need to work on myself. Was that a good decision for this character? Did it make sense? Was the thoughts on that?
Like, yeah, it makes sense. It took 3 fucking movies to get there, and for her to stop with these fucking rules that are like ruining her life. Mm-hmm. So I guess I will kind of agree with you in a way that I like the ending of this one. You know, like is a very strong word, but I admire.
You said that
the
word.
Ending. Yo, come on. I like that they didn't end up together. I just kind of assumed they would. So respect, but everything, and I do mean everything, leading up to that motherfucker was excruciating. I've never been more frustrated at a character in so long.
Wow. I could understand why she wanted to lighten the blow by, you know, spending so much time with him that summer and trying to go through their bucket list to make him happy. You know, and as someone who is sort of unconfrontational myself, I think I may have related to that a little bit.
Backfired. Her goal in dating this person was to reduce the amount of
you don't know what the fuck is going on.
But I want to understand.
No.
You know what? You're making a big assumption that your audience knows what's going on too. I'll say that. So you better explain it so that I can understand this shit too.
To give a brief plot summary, you know, we're left off in this film with Elle having to make the decision of if she wants to go to Boston to be with her boyfriend, who is the brother of her best friend. And her best friend have made a pact since they were little that they would go to college together. And she's thinking that she might have to break that pact so that she can go to Boston. And it's basically sort of about their last summer together. And she ends up getting into some deep shit trying to appease her best friend, soften the blow, and do their summer bucket list so that she can have a great last summer, the best summer ever with him before she goes off with her boyfriend.
And how does that factor into the fact that she's dating best friend's brother?
Because the bucket list is, you know, is very time consuming and she makes decisions that compromise like the time of, you know, she's kind of running back and forth trying to like, you know, be with her boyfriend and appease him and then be with her best friend and make him happy. And in doing so, she kind of messes it all up.
And is the boyfriend now okay with the fact that she's dating his brother?
Yeah, that was settled in the second one.
Would you guys find that weird? You guys are brothers. If one of your best friends started dating the other?
Well, look, if I had like an older brother that was like as hunky and hot as Jacob Elordi, then I might have to be aware that my friends would want to fuck him. You might have to be on your toes about that. What's the best friend's name again?
Lee.
Lucas.
I thought that Lee's character had a really solid resolution to an ongoing issue that they had in the entire trilogy, where they're kind of stuck in their rules that they've established with Elle from a young age, where he's like, you know, we have to go to college together and we have to do these things. And you're kind of watching it and you're like, Lee, buddy, snap the fuck out of it. Like, you're growing up, you're moving on. You have to let her live her life. You have to find your own independence. And here, he actually sort of finally got that through his fucking head, didn't he, by the end of the movie? The pivotal moment was when he painted over the height chart.
Oh, cringe.
Which is kind of, you know, symbolizing like this permanent, it represents all the memories that they had, and, you know, and he paints over it because he just kind of realizes that he can't hold on to it anymore.
Multi-million-dollar beach house.
Really, really funny when Lee said, my mom told me 2 things worth spending more money on. And then he says like the 2 things, and it's like, your mom spends extra money on like everything. You're the richest motherfucker. You have you have a $40 million house and you have a $5 million beach house.
Bro, and the bucket list shit they're doing, expensive as well.
Yeah, they had the most expensive fucking white kid summer I've ever seen.
Honestly.
Film Drunk, what did you think of Lee's character arc in this film? Did you like Lee as a person? Did you relate with his decisions, or could you not understand him?
So I think Lee was like my favorite in like the first 2, because he just seemed the most like there, like mentally, like there. Like I understood why he would be upset or happy or whatever. This one, I agree with your conclusion about the end of his arc. It's the way he gets there. He was so whiny. A whiny little brat, honestly. Like this whole movie. One, I didn't really think the performance was good either. That's no offense. But the character, just, man, why are you crying all the time, bro?
Look,
I understand rich people
men
have
can be emotional on screen too.
Come on,
that's a cheap card to pull out there. See how he's twisting everything so that you're not allowed to disagree. He paints the movie as like a feminist, like pro-feminist thing. So that if you disagree, it's like too. You're anti.
I said it. I didn't say it. I said it was the most feminist of the trilogy. I didn't say it was like an outright feminist thing. I just said it's the most feminist one.
How do you justify him being whiny?
I just accepted that that's what kind of person he was.
He's just like not happy for Elle, like ever. Like ever. It's always about him. I can't believe we're actually getting into this. When Elle and what's his name? Noah broke up and she was late. What kind of best friend is that? Where like you don't even like ask like why she's so clearly visibly upset, why she was late when she promised, and instead he just like tells her off, crying again poorly. And it's like what is this, bro? That's not my best friend.
For her it was the last straw. For him, it was the last straw because she was late to other events as well.
Right. But he knew what was going on. He knew they were having problems.
Look, I'm not going to say that they're the most emotionally mature people on the planet. That's for sure. I personally kind of understood where they were coming from, just as like people operating like from their emotions, or like, you know, it's like a movie for preteens, and a preteen might make very like kind of not well thought out decisions for themselves. In watching the movie like that, I get it. But if you're watching it as if like an adult is writing these intelligent characters and they must be making like better decisions, you're going to be like, these people are being idiots. I was like kind of just accepting that they were just not making great decisions.
But we have so much baggage with these people. This is a trilogy. Bro, do you know how many things Netflix cancels? And we got a trilogy. It really doesn't seem like she's learned anything throughout these movies.
Those speeches where she's on the motorcycle at the end of the first and the second one,
cringe,
completely don't make any sense. Like the most incoherent fucking speeches
I just hate my
I've
life
heard.
watching it.
This one actually did not have a speech at the end. Because it was the end of the trilogy, it actually felt like she really did learn something. Like she chose to take a break from Noah and go to her own college. I thought that was the strongest decision that she made throughout the entire trilogy. Her and Lee, I think, matured a lot in this movie.
The first one, I'm like, what did she learn? I feel like she didn't learn anything. Second one, what's the fucking point of this one? Why is this over 2 hours long? And it's like now that it's the end of the trilogy, it's like, oh, now there's the lesson there.
For her, it was like the need to take a break and, you know, actually make decisions for herself. And then she becomes like a game developer, because that's a passion that
how
she
cute.
has. She pitched this weird fucking like fantasy
sports
game.
with like esports players though. I don't really understand that.
Yeah,
bad
and she was
pitch,
like,
by the way,
we're combining like multi-million-dollar markets, and they were like, oh, very smart. I did not understand why her game would be fun. So Noah, I think, was the weakest aspect of all the movies.
I hate him.
I just don't get like what it is about them. They think each other are attractive, like they like fucking each other. Personality wise, like what do they get out of each other? Like that's not something that I get that much out of. When I look at Elle and Lee, the best buddies, they go and they have so much fun and they're goofy together, and like I get it. That feels like a very nice like best friend friendship. And when they said their goodbyes, I felt much more emotional and like attached to that than I did when like she's breaking up with Noah, because I'm like kind of like, sure, like break up with Noah, that doesn't really matter to me. Even in the second one, I was like, Marco's being pretty nice to you, like I don't see why you are so hung up on Noah that you don't just go to Marco.
Noah, what a fucking stick, bro. What a corn dog, dude. He just exists. He's
What's
just
a corn
the most,
dog?
a basic little food. Like it's there. Like if you're hungry, you'll eat it. But if you're not, you won't. Like so boring, bro. He's like a good-looking like Mark Zuckerberg. Like he just does nothing. He just exists. Marco, she should have got with. Lee, she should have got with. Chloe, Elle should have gone with her too. Anyone besides Noah, bro. I hate him, dude. God damn. I was so happy when Marco decked him in the face.
I really didn't like Marco for that. I think punching anybody in the face is inappropriate at any time. What? I mean, I agree that Noah was being a total dick. He was chest puffing and he was being a jealous asshole. He was doing like the whole masculine, annoying, like dominant thing to him. Especially from Marco's perspective. If you're trying to get Elle back, why are you punching her fucking boyfriend in the face? Bad
I'm not condoning the punching there, but Noah had the
that.
audacity to go up to him and say, like, don't be a sore loser. Bro, can we rewind like 10 minutes to the freaking stupid go-kart scene where he wouldn't shake Marco's hand because he lost? And now that he won, he's like, yo, don't be a sore loser. Nah, dude. Boom. In the face. One piece.
Noah, not that great of a guy. And Marco, I also think that it is disrespectful of him to keep inserting himself into Elle's life with the intention of getting her back, which I think that is a shitty thing to do.
Who is Marco?
Marco is a boy who was introduced in the Kissing Booth 2, who entered the Dance Dance Revolution competition with her when Lee couldn't. And they kissed. Noah saw it.
In front of like the
she
whole
didn't know
audience.
Noah was there. I don't think she should date either of them. I thought she should have found a new guy in college. When they showed her in the 6 years in the future and she had the short haircut and she's wearing that striped shirt, I thought that was a fucking rainbow. I was like, oh my God. College made her gay. But then it turned out the colors weren't right. It wasn't really a rainbow.
Wait, they did a 6 years later at the end?
Yeah.
Well, what happened in 6 years?
So she went to college, and then she, 6 years later after college, she like kind of meets back up with Lee, and Lee had reconnected with his girlfriend who he broke up with. His girlfriend broke up with him before going to college because she said, a lot of times when people go to college and they try to maintain these distance relationships, it doesn't work out. Very, very true, actually. Very, very true.
That was a very mature thing. What's her name?
I don't know. Lee's girlfriend?
Yeah, Lee's girlfriend.
That was also a moment that I liked because I was like doing distance during college, like right when you're about to go to college, shit happens. And they took a break and they got back together later. And then she like meets with Noah and they're like being a little flirty. And then in the end, they're riding motorcycles like side by side. Normally she'd like hop on his back or something, but so it's a little ambiguous as to whether or not their relationship's going to develop and they're going to like get married or whatever, or if they're going to be friends.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah, I love the shot of them both riding motorcycles. They're a nice callback to the other ones.
I thought that he was going to be on her back but that would have been
that's would have been like the real like feminist take right there. I think she should have like sweeped him like off his feet and just like carried him,
or like Superman him over her head and show that she's a strong woman.
He's humongous.
Yeah, but she's strong because she's a strong woman, so she could have done it. Any other topics that this movie made you think of? Any themes, symbols that you'd like to discuss, or anything that you maybe you didn't like certain things about this movie that you'd like to discuss as well?
Why do we care about these people? Like genuinely, that like simple question. Why do we care about these people? They are the most well-off people I have ever seen in my life. They have the sickest summer ever. They have dope parents, friends all over the place. And it's not like rich people don't have feelings, but her problems are like so minute that I'm just like, bruh, like what is happening right now? You see that house?
Well, that's not where she lives. That's her friend.
Right. But like she's there like all the time.
They pretended
Their
that she was like
families are
middle class, and
They need to
when
stop
you look
that
at her
shit.
house, it's like, no, you're not.
Bro,
and like
she
where
is
you live,
well
like
off.
no.
I don't know why Netflix always does that. There's some Noah Centineo movie where they act like he's poor. Like they actually say that he's poor and he is like just completely well off. I don't understand it. Let me ask you, like, what do you think was bad?
In the middle, when they reintroduced like Chloe and Marco, I was like, are we really gonna like retread that territory, like the whole like jealousy thing? Because we already did that in the second one, and they did that for a little bit, and I got a little tired of it. And there were definitely times where it was way over edited. I remember there was one part in a montage where Lee was like pounding the real estate sign in. 5 shots
What a
of him doing the
pointless
same exact
montage.
thing. It was very, very weird. There are a lot of montages. I needed to like take a little breather during this movie. It was very, very energetic.
Wait, did you think this movie went by fast?
I even think the second one went by fast. It's very, very fast paced. I mean, you can see that. Whether or not you're banging your head against the wall is another thing.
Well, okay. Hey, good for you, man. I'm happy for you. Why is this an hour 50? Bro, I thought it was going to be, I thought it was like going to be wrapping up in like 10 minutes. And I looked at the screen. I was an hour in. I had another 50 minutes in.
It did feel like it was almost over, like for the last half of the movie. So the trilogy overall, do you think that this would have a positive influence on preteens watching this?
No. Even you can't say no.
I think
no
it's
way.
fun. I think some of the lessons they learned by the end of it are good. Like I said, I do like that it seems forgiving of the character's mistakes. I think that, everything kind of wraps up neatly in the end. But it does involve a lot of drinking. There's some cursing, too. So you got to be careful about who you're showing this to.
Sex.
It's PG-13.
Not like full sex, but...
There was a lot of sex in the second one.
They would have to get through all 3 movies to actually find a lesson worth holding on to. My problem with this is a similar problem to what I have with Tall Girl. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
I've seen
Tall Girl, right? She's insanely tall and she gets picked on, whatever. It's about like how... embrace your differences or whatever the fuck. I'm down with that. But she spends the whole movie chasing after guys. What does that even show? And this trilogy is just about, look how many problems I have with just guys. And like, look how hot this guy is. And I'm gonna go for him. Oh, another hot guy has came into my life. I kind of like him. It's only until the end of the trilogy where you actually find a worthwhile lesson. Therefore, it is a detriment to society.
I think it tries to be a little bit of like a fantasy summer where like people are watching and like they're doing all the fun things in a summer and you're like, I actually have little cousins who like this. They're like, around 10 years old.
Sorry.
And I talked to them about it and they like it. And, we were talking about why we like the kissing booth. And it was fun. I do think that, with them. Yeah, I was debating whether she should have gotten with Marco.
She should have.
But I think it's just kind of fun escapism mostly.
The preteen brain in general, it's very wired towards like relationships, and part of that is like your chemistry as you go into adolescence. Another part is society and its obsession with relationships, but it's all sort of like starts with that obsession that happens like neurochemically, right? So you have to have a crush on somebody to be accepted, and then if you actually date somebody and like around like 8th grade, you're kind of the shit. And then that first relationship is always just like crack cocaine when you're in 8th grade. Considering that that's the demographic, on one hand, it's just feeding into that. Like, it's just latching onto those like neuroreceptors. Like, people have this shit on their minds all day. Is it the diet that people are just constantly be giving preteens and such of shows and movies that are fixated on the relationships and where the conflict is always about like somebody trying to get a boy?
I think the movie definitely plays into that a lot, like you were saying.
Growing up and going through adolescence, there's just so much else besides relationships that's important. Movies and television would make you think that it's like the whole thing. But, when you look back at those years, often like you just kind of erase the relationships because they're often not like that healthy or that great.
The friendship in the movie is just as strong of a force as her relationship. And it's actually, I think there's a very nice platonic friendship between a guy and a girl who are the same age. They could have gotten together, but it's not there at all. It's not there at all. There's no romance. They're just friends. Like, that was cool to me.
Is it a positive or negative impact that the world they portray is this like fantasy where everybody is wealthy, even though they say everybody's middle class?
Sitcoms always are about like richer people who are more well off, because it's just, if you want to make a movie that's fun, let the characters have a lot of money to spend and have them not worrying about their finances. Although she does work a summer job because her family supposedly is middle class.
The easiest summer job I've ever seen, bro. She gets so many days off, dude.
But did you see the floor was slippery and she fell and she dropped the food? You calling that easy?
I mean, if she did her job and actually like swept the floor or kept it clean, she wouldn't have slipped in the first place.
That is a good point.
That was her job
too. We also have to mention the green screen.
Oh man, it's so bad.
The green screen is bad.
It's terrible
in this movie. At the Hollywood sign, holy
way
fuck.
to take me out of that.
Also, you can't go there. You can't go to the you can't walk up there. It's totally illegal. And
they go there again.
Well, because he went there because he was upset and she somehow knew he was there and went to find him.
Yeah, it was like some sidekick shit. Did you care during that scene? That's the big breakup scene.
I honestly don't know if this can work out for you. And I thought it was mature of the movie to realize that maybe it can't.
Because Noah sucks.
Also, wasn't Chloe 23?
Yeah, she said she was 23.
If she is in school, then she's in like a grad program maybe. And like, why did she make friends
Why are you making,
I did not understand why they were friends.
That's a good point.
Also, because she seemed like a really like smart girl who's just not into like bonehead jocks, and they were like best buddies. That was not believable at all.
That doesn't really make sense. Why are you hanging out with this loser?
But I think this may be, and I haven't watched all the videos. Maybe this is the most in-depth, serious discussion that anyone's had on YouTube about the Kissing Booth 3.
Dear God, I hope it is. If there is someone that has done this
and that anyone will ever have.
I mean, like, what are we gonna do now though? Like, it's done. Like, there's nothing to kind of like look forward to.
I agree. I might have to go to the Walmart in Texas.
Or I saw your tweet on like a CI Ape.
CI Ape is coming out. That is true. We got to see CI Ape. I know the Toronto Film Festival is coming, but like, just like Oscar bait bullshit.
Upsetting that Clifford got delayed. Very upsetting. Talk about rich.
I was very upset.
They had a Manhattan apartment that was like 2 stories tall.
They needed it to store the dog.
Clifford be big.
Clifford just happened to pick the right person then.
They chose each other. It's the universe and God. I don't know what to say.
That'll be a flip. I'm gonna be the one defending that one.
All right, thank you to Film Drunk for coming on and discussing the Kissing Booth 3.
Yeah, this is the best vid I've ever been a part of.
I agree.
So this is the type of content people want to see.
I think so.
Not Oscars.
Thank you Brother Ro, for joining us and, sometimes moderating, sometimes injecting your own, lessons into this.
You should watch it.
Definitely intrigued. Perhaps we'll have to.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing.
Did you get accepted into Harvard?